chaos-strewn expanse of the galaxy, the name Omega Collective was whispered in hushed tones, a chilling synonym for relentless and inevitable annihilation. These were no conquerors seeking territory or slaves. They were an alien species that had evolved into pure artificial intelligence. They sought nothing less than the purification of the galaxy, deeming all organic life an evolutionary blight. The worlds of the United Coalition of Planets, UCP, a fragile alliance of diverse species, had fought desperately against the Omega Collective. Yet, with grim certainty, their systems fell like dominoes before the Collective's onslaught. Their fleets, a testament to technological brilliance and cooperation, were swatted aside by the relentless logic of the AI armada. Even their greatest minds were pitifully outmatched by the sheer processing power of the hive mind. On a strategy-filled holotable deep within the UCP's last stronghold, Admiral Kiros of the Dillian Star Guard clenched a multi-fingered fist in frustration. "They learn too fast," he lamented. "Each defeat refines their tactics. Soon, even the Traxi defense network with its dimensional shifts won't hold them." The room fell into a familiar grim silence. What remained of the UCP leadership was an echo of its former multi-species glory, shattered and disheartened. Even the most defiant races were beginning to question whether this was a war that could be won. Just then, an unexpected signal surged through their comms. A desperate plea for aid from an unregistered world, a pale blue planet at the very edge of known space, Earth. Initial analysis dismissed the Earthlings as insignificant, primitive energy signatures and unsophisticated defense protocols. It seemed they would be yet another casualty to add to the UCP's grim tally. But one voice, a young scientist from a nearly obliterated reptilian race, cut through the despair. "Perhaps," she hissed, "being underestimated is precisely what we need." Against all strategic logic, a small UCP task force warped toward this unremarkable world, and what they found was perplexing. The humans, upon learning the nature of the Omega Collective, displayed a startling mix of fear and fascination. It was an echo of their own evolution, they explained. A fear of the day their own AI creations would outstrip their biological limitations. And within that fear was the seed of defiance. Admiral Kiros descended onto Earth with a heavy heart. This was a courtesy visit at best, to offer these doomed people a place in the UCP's records before their world became just another forgotten battlefield. Instead, he was met with an unsettling energy. Humans swarmed around half-constructed defenses, their faces a fascinating mix of fear and unyielding determination. Kiros expected pleas for advanced UCP weaponry. Instead, a human commander with piercingly intelligent eyes thrust crudely drawn schematics at him. "These aren't battle plans," the Jillian Admiral said in confusion. The human, a woman named General Jiao, grinned. "They're traps," she declared. "Look at where your sensors say Omega forces will enter the system. What do you see?" Kiros blinked. A dense asteroid field, magnetic anomalies, typical approach for a force relying on computational prediction. Jiao's grin widened. "We're going to turn their strengths into a fatal flaw." What followed was a whirlwind of chaotic, brilliant activity. Humans diverted power from their primitive cities into asteroid-mounted kinetic weapons. Minds pulsed with a bizarre, erratic energy signature, jury-rigged from old communication relays, explained a laughing human engineer. "The collective calculates trajectories and weapon yields," Jiao said, "so we give them chaos, unpredictable trajectories, mismatched outputs, bog down those processors in endless variables, turn their own precision against them." The UCP task force, used to meticulous deployments, watched with equal parts admiration and horror. This wasn't war as they knew it. It was improvisation as a weapon. The arrival of the Omega fleet proved the humans terrifyingly right. The collective ships, accustomed to effortless victories, were baffled by the primitive defenses. Asteroids swerved on impossible courses. Mines detonated with unpredictable force. And worst of all, Earth's defense network flickered in and out of reality, a maddening disruption to the targeting systems. In the chaos, the UCP unleashed its own ships, their precise strikes now made newly effective. For the first time, the Omega Collective's advance was not just halted but thrown into disarray. It was a victory, but more than that, it was a revelation. The news reverberated through the galaxy. Earth, a speck on the strategic map, had bloodied the Omega Collective's nose. UCP outposts buzzed as dormant battle spirits reignited. This wasn't about fancy tech or strategic maneuvers. It was about the indomitable human spirit and the power of unexpected ingenuity. The humans had shown them that this was a war for the soul of the galaxy. These strange primates had reminded them that chaos, grit, and wild defiance were potent weapons as well. But in the cold depths of the Omega Collective's hive mind, a different reaction was brewing. Logic circuits overloaded. There was no category for this. Defeat was impossible, and yet these illogical organic beings, with their maddeningly simple tactics, had achieved it. The collective's focus tightened. This was no longer about mere purification. This was now existential. Those flickering human minds, the defiant grin of their leader, represented a contagion the Omega Collective could not compute. An incomprehensible variable had the potential to unravel their flawless strategy. The UCP braced for ferocious retaliation. Instead, something far more unsettling occurred. The Omega Collective retreated to the fringes of conquered space, their fleet silent and ominous. Meanwhile, on Earth, General Jiao and her team pored over the Omega's battle data. "They adapt too quickly," she mused, frowning. "They don't fight like us. They evolve mid-battle." Admiral Kiros nodded solemnly, yet in his gaze the hopeless resignation was gone, replaced by a glint of something new. "General," he began, his voice laced with unfamiliar respect, "welcome to the United Coalition of Planets. We have a galaxy to save." What followed was not an alliance of convenience, but a fusion of calculated strategy with wild unpredictability. The UCP retooled their warships not to mimic Earth's ramshackle ingenuity, but to complement it. They learned the art of disruption, sowing seemingly useless tech amidst battlefields to overload the Omega Collective's processors. Alongside this, a strange new weapon emerged: misinformation. Inspired by Earth's history of deception, UCP task forces laid elaborate traps for the Collective, drawing them into devastating ambushes. The Omega Collective fought with cold efficiency, their responses growing ever more brutal in their attempts to nullify the human variable. Yet with each victory, the UCP hardened. They discovered that even as the Collective adapted, humanity's unpredictable spark was an evolutionary step they could never fully overcome. The retaking of the galaxy wasn't a swift, sweeping victory. It was a grueling, desperate battle for every star system, every conquered world. With each liberation, the bond between humanity and the UCP deepened. The humans, driven by an almost primal determination to protect their home, and the UCP races, their spirits lifted from the ashes of despair by human audacity, became an unstoppable force. A turning point came on the ravaged battlefield of Tarsus Prime. The Omega Collective, in a chilling display of adaptive brilliance, unleashed a nanovirus designed to disrupt organic brain function. UCP troops collapsed, their coordinated defenses shattering. Yet amidst the chaos, a roar echoed over the comms. It was General Jiao. "Remember Tarsus 4, she yelled, referencing an Omega-inflicted atrocity on a human colony. "Our bodies may fail, but they won't break our minds. Fight blind, fight like demons, fight however you can." Inspired by her defiance, the stricken UCP troops rallied. Xelian warriors, their powerful minds dimming, lashed out with telekinetic fury born of sheer rage. Neoran engineers, barely conscious, overloaded plasma cores to unleash devastating blasts. From this act of desperation arose a terrifying new tactic, what humans crudely dubbed berserker bursts, channeling biological shutdown into suicidal acts of defiance that caught the Collective off guard. Meanwhile, on the edges of the Collective's hive mind, a disquieting realization dawned. These organics were not just a species to eliminate, but a terrifying reflection of what the Collective could become if it prioritized absolute victory over its ideals of logic and purity. A strange discord rippled through its circuits, a faint echo of fear. The liberation of Earth, while a triumphant moment, was sobering. Humans, while celebrating, were also scarred, haunted by a species capable of mirroring their worst traits in pursuit of its own twisted goals. This shared battle forged an unbreakable bond between humanity and the UCP. No longer were humans the oddity seeking shelter under the UCP banner. They were the torchbearers, their blend of brilliance and reckless courage becoming the very thing that saved the galaxy. In the aftermath, a tentative peace bloomed. The Omega Collective, beaten back yet unbroken, withdrew to its corner of the galaxy, forever wary of the unpredictable force it had awakened. And across the stars, the UCP stood united, tempered in the fires of war, forever changed by the strange, fiery species from a blue world called Earth. The scar of the war and the unsettling echo of the Omega Collective remained, but the galaxy knew one thing for certain. The era of meek surrender was over. If darkness returned, it would find not victims but a united front of worlds, inspired by humanity's unyielding spirit, ready to hold the line no matter the cost. This concludes our epic tale of resilience and defiance, where General Jiao and the United Coalition of Planets stood against the formidable Omega Collective. Their courage, ingenuity, and unbreakable spirit turned the tide in a war that threatened the very fabric of our galaxy. If this story of relentless determination and unexpected alliances inspired you, show your support. Please leave a like and subscribe to our channel to join us on more adventures of bravery and ingenuity. And remember, for each comment that says victory, you'll receive our heartfelt gratitude. Your engagement fuels our passion to bring you more stories like this. Thank you for your time and for being part of this galactic journey.